if he just made better decisions, either don't take the drugs or don't drive. One of those two decisions, somebody would be alive right now.
The degree to which the windshield was damaged further demonstrated how dangerously fast the driver was speeding through the residential neighborhood.
One of the other things that you can see on this deal is that, when a crime happens, especially in these neighborhoods, Ring doorbell cameras are all over the place. And they capture this. And one of the things that cops do is they'll canvass the neighborhood for Ring doorbell cameras.
Yeah, I was drunk.
I was drunk. That takes away a defense, and all these things are monitored and recorded.
Yeah, somebody. This lady, I didn't even know I had even done that. And then I hit a stop sign.
So when you're that messed up, you don't have good judgment, and so he's already admitted to driving under the influence, and he admitted knowing that he killed somebody.
Your house is over this way. What's your address?
You hear that? I think they're coming for him.
Just give me the address. You don't have to tell me where it's by. What's the address? What's the mailing address?
Most people can rattle off their mailing address in like 2 seconds. If you get shit-faced the night before and you have an early shift the next day, guess what? You probably shouldn't drive.
Yes, we're having a abandoned vehicle.
He looks like he's a little fucked up, though. Clearly, trauma is trauma, and you can have trauma just by witnessing something, and clearly she's shaken up by what she saw.
Yeah, all I didn't.
So you were going northbound.
I was going up to church to do something for.
And it would be a defense if you didn't know you hit somebody. But let me tell you something. If your windshield is smashed, probably a good idea that you smashed into somebody. Unless you're smashed yourself.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Today we're reacting to the moment he realized he killed someone, and this is along with our content genius, Michael Rivers. We do have a merch store, don't we?
We do.
Where is that?
In CLRBruceRivers.com.
There we go. All right. And once in a while, we get things sent to us, right? So from Mel Johnson, and it's just a note saying, love your channel. And Mel sends me a bobblehead. You see the bobblehead there? Little bobbleheads with a hat that says stop self-snitching with sort of my likeness when I had a beard. Anyway, thanks, Mel. So, before we get to the video, this is brought to you by eForms.com. eForms.com, very loyal sponsor to Criminal Lawyer Reacts. And, just so you know, if you need a legal form, you're going to want to win in court if you have any kind of interaction with anybody. So if you need a business agreement, loan agreement, any kind of rental agreement, if you don't have it in writing, guess what? Grandma's going to kick your ass. So, my grandma's in her basement, and, she's not doing the greatest. So we have a power of attorney and a medical power of attorney, got it all from eForms.com. But she also has been selling a lot of her stuff. And, when she sells something, we always make her get a bill of sale because we want a record of it. Because guess what? If somebody gets a ticket in the car that you sold or it's used in a crime or whatever, and you have a bill of sale, you can devolve yourself of any kind of knowledge or interest in what was going on at the time. So eForms.com, very effective way to avoid the high cost of a lawyer like me and a very easy way to win or stay out of court. Okay, so you're on the road. You're driving down the road. You're safe, right? But you see some dickhead on the road who is all over the place. What do you do? Well, let me tell you, if you're the dickhead, you pull over and get somebody else to drive, whether you're impaired or whatever the reason is. But there's people on the road, And people report other people. We get that all the time. So if somebody's reporting you, the cops can pull you over if there's sufficient indication of a crime and they have the person who is reporting you identified. So let's just, that's just a preface. This is really a cold reaction. I haven't seen this. So, and also the video comes from Midwest Crime. Let's give them a shout out. It used to be Minnesota Crime, but now they're Midwest Crime. So give them a shout out, and here we go.
Okay, which direction are you traveling?
Other bystanders are horrified by the devastation that the driver left in his wake.
You want to sit on the curb?
I didn't realize about that until I seen the broken cones and the shoes, and then I thought, oh my God, that probably was a person. So.
Okay.
On May 25th, 2021, Mounds View Dispatch received this phone call alerting police to an erratic driver.
911, what is the address of your emergency? We are on what?
So this happens all the time. A lot of times with DWIs. Somebody is driving around the road drunk, and then the person behind them sees their erratic driving, and they call it in. Now, can the cops pull you in or pull you over based on a tip? They can if the driver is identified. If the caller is identified, whoever is calling this in, and then they can do it.
What is this? County Road 10, Mounds View Boulevard. There's a guy, driving all over the road. He has a cracked windshield. He's going over the curb into the store. Holy.
Okay, which direction are you?
Now, that's concerning driving right there, but I don't know that it's that concerning. But from the precursor of what happened, it sounds like we're going to get into a little bit more serious driving conduct.
Traveling.
Oh my God, I can't. No, you're fine. No, I can't. He's coming back over here. He's running. Yeah, he's running.
Like on foot?
Yeah, he's running on foot.
Where's his vehicle?
So he literally almost hit us head on inside my neighborhood, and then he ended up on Mounds View Boulevard right behind us again. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if he hit anybody, but all I know is that when he drove past us, his car wasn't damaged.
The caller relayed the license plate and the car's description to the police. However, 911 quickly got...
So they get this happened to a buddy of mine. Somebody called it in, and he crashed his motorcycle, right? And they get his license plate number. He's not there because he hobbled up on a crushed ankle and took off. The cops go to his house to wait for him, and he sees the cops there, so he goes in the back and he just waits on his porch until the cops are gone. I mean, and he almost died of shock because of his crushed ankle. So just because you don't get caught at the scene, your vehicle is linked to you, right? So they're gonna go to your house.
Confirming dispatch's worst fears.
A woman has been hit by a car. She's in the road. The car has left the scene.
All right, is she injured?
Oh, yeah.
And leaving the scene of an accident is a crime, but it's the least of this guy's crimes.
Oh, yeah, extremely. She is not moving. She's not moving.
No one could have prepared the officers for what awaited them at the scene of the hit and run.
It is a crime to leave the scene of an accident where there are injured. Well, it's a misdemeanor to leave an accident, but it's a felony to leave the scene of an accident where there's either a death or serious bodily injury.
Her throat's just completely gone. So, her throat's torn open. I think that's what I'm wondering. I thought it was a doll when I got here.
7212, 7205, 7227. PC overheard suspect vehicle may have a broken windshield. No further description.
Give us a minute to get everything, and then we'll get information from you. Wolfie, you just want to shut this down too, all together, because it's good.
So you think that it's got to be a child, right? And that makes it even worse.
These two are the witnesses.
In the area 7500 Greenfield, for 911, open line within 16 meters, nothing heard.
Did you call? Yes. Did you witness it?
When you have an anonymous tip, a cop can't pull you over based upon an anonymous tip. The cop, if they get an anonymous tip, they can follow you. I mean, because you're on the road. They can do whatever they want when you're on the road. But when they get an anonymous tip, the cops can't just pull you over based upon an anonymous tip. They have to have an identified caller or witness the conduct themselves. So they get an anonymous tip saying there's drivers all over the road. Okay, well, nobody's identified, so I'm going to have to follow this driver. Oh, there they are. And then, weaving. It doesn't really take much, to be honest with you. But here, they have identified callers, and they've got witnesses there on the scene.
Yes.
Okay.
She saw the vehicle.
What can you give me on the vehicle? Sorry, I know we got...
It was a blue SUV, and the windshield is smashed in front of the driver.
Okay.
And it went that way really fast.
South?
South.
Yep.
So they get a blue SUV with a smashed windshield. That's not that far away.
7227. I am getting a suspect vehicle description of a blue SUV. Front wheel windshield should be totally smashed in, and it was southbound on Long Lake Road.
Male driver.
Male driver.
7227 copy. It's a suspect vehicle, blue SUV, front windshield should be smashed in.
You want to sit on the curb?
Crossing southbound Long Lake Road with a male driver. 1324.
I don't know there was an SUV. I don't know if it was an SUV. It was a...
It was an SUV or was it a car?
I think it was an SUV.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna go north from Innsbrucker.
Vehicle as your back end, and I have an SUV, and that, well, not this one, but it looked like that.
264. Copy.
Okay. I'm sorry, ladies, that you had to witness this today. I appreciate you.
I just took me a second to figure.
There's a couple different reasons why people run from an accident. Number one, they're afraid of the consequences because all of a sudden they just did something crazy. No, whether they're drunk, and a lot of times it's because they're drunk, or they have a warrant or some other kind of thing, other problem. And so it's like, I'm not going to get pulled into prison. We had a case like this way back a while ago. We had a famous athlete here, and his wife got pulled over, or not pulled over, she was getting off of an exit ramp, and she wound up clipping a guy and killed him. Then we were supposed to take her daughter to a concert, hides the vehicle in her car, changes the color of her hair, and changes her clothes. We call that consciousness of guilt. And they wound up going to trial in that case, and they really shouldn't have. She wound up getting 41 months in prison. But it just never ceases to amaze me what people do when they're in trouble. They make bad decisions.
What had happened, I'm just going by and I seen this car driving south, and I went to look, see who was in it, and the windshield's all smashed right in front of the driver.
Okay.
2260 clear to landing.
So you were both traveling southbound as
No,
well?
I'm going north.
And
he was going
That's south.
Okay, I was going south. He was going south. She was going north. She
Okay.
saw his windshield and then turned around and came back.
Okay. So was she just walking across the street?
No, she was over here raking in her yard in between the boulevard and the white thing. On the side of the yard. She was, standing here raking. He went around me and hit her. Kept on going. Didn't even slow down.
Okay.
Yeah, all I seen was, I didn't.
So you were going northbound.
I was going up to church. To do some
And it would be a defense if you didn't know you hit somebody. But let me tell you something. If your windshield is smashed, probably a good idea that you smashed into somebody. Unless you're smashed yourself.
something for church, and
okay.
I seen kind of what was going. I seen the broken cones, and then I wasn't sure what that was, and then I realized what because I seen the broken windshield.
Okay.
Going north.
So that was why you turned around, but you didn't actually see the impact?
No, she did.
Okay. Do you want me to get medics to check on you at all, or is there somebody I can call for you?
No, I don't live that far from home.
Okay, otherwise we can have somebody get your car home and I can drive you the rest of the way. We can figure out a way if you don't want to.
Clearly, trauma is trauma, and you can have trauma just by witnessing something, and that's clearly she's shaken up by what she saw.
Figure out a way if you don't want to. So, you're going southbound. Was the car in front of you or behind you?
He was behind me.
Okay.
And past me.
So he passed you in the no pass zone.
Yes.
And he must not have seen she was out. So she was kind of on the shoulder there? the bike lane?
I'm gonna say he did for sure see her, and just he was in such a freaking hurry.
500 block of Greenfield, and the vehicle's left.
She was in such a freaking hurry. So it sounds so Minnesota or Midwest. You know, there is never anything you have to get to that is so serious that you have to put yourself or other people in jeopardy, right? Because what if you don't get there? Well, then you're sort of screwed then anyway, right? I mean, that's one of the things they teach you in your own driver's ed. Don't rush. But, you know, in the moment, you know, we're all in a rush, right? In the moment, we all have things, places we got to go. We're all thinking about something else instead of what we're doing in the moment.
Maybe it took him by surprise that she was there, but he was I was 30 because there's so many cops on this road.
All right,
and he just went right around.
Grab the vehicle description here.
And he didn't stay in the other lane.
Miller's
just went
getting
around
a dark blue
and that's how he hit her.
SUV.
Okay.
And front
So he
windshield
passed you, and whether or not he saw her, he was in such a rush, he just went right through.
Yes.
Okay. And it was a blue SUV, broken windshield.
Right in the driver's side.
Okay.
I looked right away, and then I realized then what had happened.
Okay.
But so I turned around at the next. I was going to church. I didn't say anything. I turned around and come back. I knew she was.
Okay.
So now, when you think about later on, like a trial or something, think about these witnesses all of a sudden being on a stand. You know, as a defense lawyer, that's one of the first things I look for. You know, how are they going to come off? Did they see? How did they see, hear, witness what they experienced? And they come. I mean, they've got no dog in the fight, right? Except for they saw something traumatic, and they're very, very credible.
Alrighty.
I could not get Cal on the phone line to go check on her. I couldn't do it.
Nope, that's not your job. The fact that you called is appreciative enough. And I don't blame you for not wanting to see that. As a citizen, you don't have to. So you guys did the right thing. I appreciate you staying around. If you want to go, you can, or I can call.
I walked across the street a little bit, and then I knew that it was not what's going on over there.
Yeah. So you think a normal royal blue like that, you can't get a make them out? Did you get a partial plate or anything like that? It's okay if you didn't at all. It's
really fast.
We have to ask all those questions. It's okay to not know.
I thought about it, but then I saw her.
Yep.
I didn't realize about that until I seen the broken cones in the shoes, and then I thought, oh my God, that probably was a person. So, and I came back because I know she was here.
Okay. They might have the vehicle as an update. Otherwise, we've got every agency in the area searching for it.
Yeah.
And what is faster than a vehicle? A police radio. You know, when they all of a sudden put a blast out, look for this, look for this or this. Guess what? They're going to find it. It's a small community in the northern suburbs of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and but it's close to a freeway. So I mean, if this guy hopped on the freeway and beat feet, but it sounds like they got him.
Every agency.
All I know is
so we are going to do our darndest to catch this guy or guy, it sounds like.
Side was very smashed.
Okay.
I live over on
Okay. I would love to hug you, but I don't know if that's odd. But like I am.
I'll take it.
Okay. I'm very sorry you had to see this today. Nobody deserves to witness that. Okay. If you have any questions for us or you need anything from the police department, please reach out. We will do whatever we can for you.
Let me know if you catch the guy.
I should be able to give you that information. Absolutely. Okay. I've got all your info and I'll keep you in the loop. Okay.
Thanks to the quick actions of everyday folks, police were able to find the driver blocks away from the hit and run. He was easy to spot considering that he plowed through a sign, ran off the road, and hit the median with such force that his airbags deployed.
What the hell? The only thing I can think of is that the guy's impaired, right? Isn't that the natural, logical inference here?
And his right wheel appeared to disconnect from the axle. Somehow, the suspect managed to avoid any injury, and police were able to finally get to the
Drunks always avoid the injury, it seems.
Bottom of what led to the death of an elderly woman, simply out raking leaves in her yard.
Whose car is this black car here? What's her name? No, stay here. You can lean on that bumper there. So why did you hit that sign? You said you hit that sign?
He looks disoriented. And this is the middle of the day. What time is this? 1:30 in the afternoon. May 25th, 2021.
That sign?
And people sometimes can be laboring under another condition, like a mental health condition. I'll give you an example. My grandfather, no longer in the basement because he's dead. But he was driving down the road and got pulled over by a cop because he was kind of all over the road. Cop gets out of the car, he takes off. Cop pulls him over again. Cop gets out of the car, he takes off. And then this time he shoved his car up on the sidewalk so he couldn't leave. And he gets him out and he's disoriented. Wasn't under the influence of it, but he had a brain tumor the size of a tennis ball that we didn't know about. So those kinds of things could be going on too. You never know.
Yes, we're having a abandoned vehicle.
He looks like he's a little fucked up though.
Okay. So after you hit the sign, you drove and you parked here? Okay. Were you alone in the car? No one else was with you?
Establishing that he's the driver, correct? So one of the things that they're going to look for is slurred speech, watery, glassy eyes, pinprick pupils. Is he under the influence of alcohol? I mean, do we have a smell of alcohol? And if not, do we have, narcotics or some other kind of drugs that are on board? And if he is, then what do? Then we get a warrant for his blood and get a DRE, a drug recognition expert. So that's kind of the whole analysis that these cops are doing at this time.
Okay. Did you have your seatbelt on? Okay. That's good. You're not hurt. You had no alcohol today. No pills or drugs or anything. Okay. So why do you have this happen?
The guy appears to be disoriented, doesn't he?
Okay. So you've had no alcohol. When was the last time you drank some alcohol? A day?
That probably tells you the cop smells it.
A week? An hour? How long since you had some alcohol?
Probably
Yesterday?
If you get shit-faced the night before and you have an early shift the next day, guess what? You probably shouldn't drive. Because I had a client that just did this not that long ago, and he's 0.15 the next morning. So he was really shit-faced the night before, but he gets up, and this guy has no priors. He's a, professional. I'm not going to tell you what he does because I don't want to disclose who it is. But I'm telling you, the use of alcohol the night before can affect you the next day if it's severe.
Or the day before? All right. You know what day it is? It's what? Tuesday. Okay. Do you know what month it is? May? Do you know where you're at? What road is this? 10? Okay, County Road 10. And where are you trying to get to? Your house is over this way? What's your address?
You hear that? I think they're coming for him.
Just give me the address. You don't have to tell me where it's by. What's the address? What's the mailing address?
Most people can rattle off their mailing address in like 2 seconds. He's having trouble with his own address.
Right.
The suspect appeared to be incapable of giving his address in any coherent manner. However, once he was arrested, taken to jail, and given time to sober up, he was able to reach his wife and give her the shocking news.
Say, I'm so sorry, boo. I'm in jail.
I know. I'm trying to get you out.
Look, this is what you gotta do. You gotta go to
I'm going to a bond.
bondsman.
I'm talking to them now.
Okay, I need $25,000, right, and get the $2,000 out of the bank. The $2,500 out of the bank and get the rest from the bondsman, and then I can come home.
Well, that's what I'm working on that now.
And keep in mind, everything you say on a jail phone is recorded.
I'm so sorry I did that. I am so sorry. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm at?
You at the Ramsey County Jail.
Is this the Ramsey County Jail? Yeah, okay. The car's all messed up, ain't it?
The car is total.
So if there's a death involved, 25 grand, that seems pretty light. He's saying his bail is 25,000, and he needs 10% of that to post the bail.
Yeah.
So 25 grand is a light amount for a homicide.
The car is total.
All right. I'll make all this up for you, okay? I tried to call you before, but I couldn't get through to you. I was drunk.
I was drunk. That takes away a defense, and all these things are monitored and recorded.
I heard that you was on.
Huh?
It came with cocaine.
It's cocaine. They said it was cocaine.
The suspect did not test positive for cocaine, and though a small, unopened bottle of liquor was found in the passenger seat of his car, he did not have any alcohol in his system. However, once they secured a search warrant to test his blood, investigators found a medley of depressants, sleep aids, and opiates in his system, including fentanyl. Additionally, a small bag containing white powder was found in his vehicle, which tested positive for heroin and fentanyl.
No, cocaine would not make you do that. And do you not know that I killed somebody?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I killed somebody. This lady, I didn't even know I had even done that. And then I hit a stop sign.
So when you're that messed up, you don't have good judgment. And so he's already admitted to driving under the influence, and he admitted knowing that he killed somebody.
Yeah. And that's when I came to and noted that the car, I had messed up. I don't even know what happened. And it wasn't, the cocaine don't do you like that.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, it don't do you like that. If anything, it'll have you woke wide awoke. Okay, all right.
I can't think. I ain't been sleeping. I can't eat.
I'm so sorry, baby.
That's another good issue. When a family member gets taken into custody, there's a ripple in the pond effect, right? Because all of a sudden, if it's a dad, he can't parent. If it's a mom, she can't mother. If it's, a son or daughter, they can't go to school. All of a sudden, and they can't be there for you, and you can't be there for them. So when a loved one gets taken into jail, is not fun for anybody. It definitely has, your conduct has an effect on everybody in your life.
I'm so sorry, baby. I did this to you. I will make it up to you. I promise you.
During their investigation, officers photographed the scene of the hit and run, and the shoes that were left behind, indicating the speed at which the driver struck the victim. The degree to which the windshield was damaged further demonstrated how dangerously fast the driver was speeding through the residential neighborhood.
One of the other things that you can see on this deal is that, when a crime happens, especially in these neighborhoods, Ring doorbell cameras are all over the place. And they capture this shit. And one of the things that cops do is they'll canvass the neighborhood for Ring doorbell cameras. So that's how they were able to get this footage.
Blood found on the windshield was later tested and found to be a match for the victim. He was charged with third-degree murder, criminal vehicular homicide, and felony possession of a controlled substance. He refused several plea deals, but also did not want a jury trial. Instead, he opted for a bench trial, where just a judge would determine.
That's called a slow walk guilty plea, because I guarantee you, what happens is a client doesn't want to do this. I don't want, I don't want to go to prison, and so the lawyer says, well, do you want a trial? I don't want a trial. Okay, then probably what they had was a stipulated facts trial. And what that is, you submit the reports to the court, and then you make your argument as to why the person's not guilty. It really is just a slow walk guilty plea.
In his fate, he was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to 12.5 years to be served at St. Cloud Correctional Facility. He can expect to serve a little more than 8 years of his sentence in prison and the rest of his time on supervised release.
So he gets a 12-year sentence. And he starts out in St. Cloud. St. Cloud is where they just designate you, you start out there and then you wind up going someplace else. But if he just made better decisions, either don't take the drugs or don't drive, one of those two decisions, somebody would be alive right now. So think about it. As you embark on your day, the decisions you make can impact what happens to you and others tomorrow. It is not hard. It's not rocket science. You're going to go out for dinner. I'm old, so that's what we do. We go out to dinner. You're going to have a glass of wine, or you're going to go to a club. You're going to party all night long. Guess what? Uber it. Or stay home. You want to get fucked up? Go get fucked up, but stay home. Don't get on the road. So that's my message to you on this. Just a couple of decisions that he makes prior to getting behind the wheel saves a life. So he's losing out on a decade of his life because of a decision that he made. But my guess is that it's not the first time that he is experiencing some kind. Because the guidelines in this case was 144 months probably, or 150 months. So if the guidelines are 150 months, he's probably got some criminal history. But if it weren't for bad decisions and drugs and alcohol, I wouldn't have a job. So just heed my warning. Try to take some precautions before you get behind a wheel or before you do anything. Before you have an argument with your loved one, try to make better choices on the words you're going to use. Anyway, that's just my little preachy session for today. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Sign up for Patreon. And Michael, where would they get the merch should they choose?
CLRBruceRivers.com. Go there.
Shout out to our creators. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer. They don't need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt every single one of the acts that was presented. They can pick and choose. Oh, I believe this one. I believe this one. I don't believe that one. I don't believe that one. Oh, but that one looks probably true. So they only need to pick one or two of them, and that's it. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own board-certified personal criminal defense lawyer, and you know who you are, don't you? I think you should. Anyway, today I've got my 24-karat gold shark cufflinks on, and guess what those are? What does it mean when I have those on? It means we're doing business. Today we're doing some business. We're doing the Diddy trial. Sean P. Diddler, the Diddler man, the diddliest guy that ever diddled. He's got his case is over. We're going to talk about what that means and the status of the case. And we're going to talk about the jury instructions. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is a very effective and cheap way to get a lawyer's opinion on your current case or whatever you got going on. So let's say you have a landlord-tenant dispute. Well, go to lawyers.com. For $49, you can get a good opinion on what you should do or not do. Usually we're telling people what not to do, to be quite frank with you. And they have lawyers, real lawyers. We have a heart, and these lawyers are living, breathing human beings ready to help you for $49. How, you can't get any better than that. And we also have an AI component. So if you're doing your own legal research, they've got all the 50 states covered. So it's on AI. So if you have a problem like grandma does in the basement, guess what? Go to askalawyer.com. And the reason I say that is because, they come to you from the same people that brought you eForms and eSign, very loyal sponsors to CLR. Bruce Rivers, our channel that was created by our former content genius, Michael Rivers, God rest his soul. So go to askalawyer.com, because if you don't, it's going to cost you later. All right, so let's talk about the Diddler man, P. Diddler, Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy, Bad Boy Records and all this other shit. You talk about somebody who had the world by the ponytails. I don't know what else to say. You're a billionaire, right? He's supposedly a billionaire or 100 billionaire or whatever he is. He's got a lot of dough. What are you doing? You can't take crazy out of crazy. The perversion was in him all along. You just, like I say, Bill Cosby, there's something wrong with somebody that wants to fuck somebody that looks like they're dead. There just is. And I know there's flavors for everybody, but at the point at which your predilection is hurting others, that's where you got to draw the line. And that's where the law draws the line. So let's talk about the status of the case. There are hundreds of exhibits, 7 weeks of trial, and now we come down to where you make your money. So what kind of a brilliant defense is Diddy's team putting together? Oh, they didn't put up a defense. Guess what? When you have a criminal sexual conduct case, and it's a he said, she said case, and you only hear what she said, that's a problem. Because they only hear one narrative. They did get cross-examined, right? And there were, didn't you tell him that you loved him? And didn't you tell him that you were looking forward to the freak off? Well, yeah. I had to. Because if I didn't tell him those things, he was going to beat me. And he was threatening my career, So you don't have a counter narrative brought on by the defense. Now, here's the deal. The defense does not have to prove a thing. Nothing. They have no burden, okay? Anybody who brings the case has the burden. The government in this case brought the case. So like if I have a car accident case and I was hit by somebody and I want to sue somebody for my injuries, well, it's up to me. I have the burden. So the government has the burden. They're bringing the case. So the defense does not even have to call a witness, and you can't hold that against them. Or the jury can't anyway. But they kind of do a little bit. Let's just be real. When it's a he said, she said case, and you don't hear what he said, you're left with what she said. So the government went through and did their closing argument. Now the defense is going to do their closing argument today, so I can't really comment exactly what they're going to say, but I'm going to tell you what they're going to say. But before we get to that, let's talk about what the government did in their closing. In the closing argument, the government, they went through and they tried to simplify things for the jury, which is what you need to do. And it's really tough to go through 7 weeks of trial and sum it up into a short presentation that's going to keep somebody's attention. I tend not to go more than a half hour for my closing arguments. Very rarely do I go more than a half hour. Let's talk about the jury instructions and how that dovetails into what the government was doing. First, an enterprise existed. They have to prove that an enterprise existed. This is for RICO. And that's not going to be hard at all because you have employees, you have a structure, you have a corporation, and you have Diddy at the top telling everybody what the fuck to do. Very, very easy. 2, the enterprise was engaged in or had some effect on interstate commerce, crossing state lines. That's all they have to do. And they bringing hookers in from out of state satisfies that. 3, the defendant was associated with the enterprise. Well, it's his. It's Diddy. There's no question about that. So, and the 4th element is that that 2 or more persons reached an agreement or came to an understanding to conduct or participate in the affairs of the enterprise, directly or indirectly, through a pattern of racketeering activity, and that the defendant voluntarily joined that, either at the time or sometime later. And it's his organization. So the only question here is really, the only question for the jury is whether there was a pattern of racketeering activity. So then the fifth element is that the defendant voluntarily and intentionally joined in the agreement or understanding, either at the time it was first reached or sometime later. But I mean, the existence of the enterprise and the affairs of the enterprise and the conduct of the enterprise is all the diddler. There was a whole bunch of racketeering activity, or they call them overt acts, actually. The one thing that you really need to know, and the jury is going to be told this in their instructions, they don't need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt every single one of the acts that was presented. They can pick and choose. Oh, I believe this one. I believe this one. I don't believe that one. I don't believe that one. Oh, but that one looks probably true. So they only need to pick one or two of them, and that's it. I mean, that's why racketeering, or RICO, is such a broad net, which is just crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy how easy it is for the government to prove their case. These instructions I just read you came from a case that I just tried a couple months ago, or a month ago. So the closing argument is so when you do, let's start at the beginning. An opening statement is when you foretell what the case is going to be about. The evidence in this case will show blah, 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 right? And so the closing argument is just the opposite of that. You can't argue in your opening, but you argue in your closing. Okay, does that make sense? The defense didn't put on a case, and like I said, you can't hold that against them. And the defendant did not testify. Big fucking surprise there that Diller didn't testify. He was going to be absolutely filleted. So the position of and at the close of the government's case, the defense moved for a judgment of acquittal. It's a Rule 29 motion. And guess what? It went, they're almost never granted. I mean, I've had it granted, I think, 2 or 3 times in my career on very serious cases. But Diddy didn't testify, right? And I don't know how he could, honestly. I mean, he gave that, and I don't know if it came in, I'm sure it probably came in, where he gave the mea culpa on his, he looks like he's in a fucking hut, and we'll show it to you here in a second.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
I mean, look at him. I mean, he's giving a mea culpa. I'm so sorry. It's a public relations thing. He at that time he was doing that. I mean, so he didn't talk to any lawyers about making that statement. I don't know why the fuck that was so stupid, especially in light of everything that was coming down the pike, right? So he admitted that he did something wrong in that video. So I would be shocked if that didn't come into trial. I don't know if it did or not, but he is such a damaged client or defendant. I just don't know how. You want to keep your client off the stand if at all possible. But when you have he said, she said, it's my practice to have my client normally testify, because if he doesn't testify, they only hear one story. And you can't necessarily destroy somebody on cross-examination if they're compelling. Like Cassie Ventura was compelling. You watch that video and then hear her talk, and then other people corroborated what she had to say. Compelling stuff. Mr. Diddy, isn't it true that he had over 1,000 bottles of baby oil? I mean, and you go on and on and on and pound him on cross-examination. The decision to have him not testify was the right decision. No question in my mind. But what do they do in their closing? They're going to talk about consent. They're going to talk about all kinds of other things. You shouldn't believe this person. You shouldn't believe that person. This case is politically motivated. The government in this case only showed you what they wanted you to see. That's the kind of stuff you're going to hear. And it's all bullshit. Let's just call a spade a spade. Was there any challenge to the drugs? No. Was there any challenge that people came in from out of state? No. Was there any challenge that people got paid to have sex with Cassie from out of state? No. You know, so those overt acts are there. And so the defense is just going to have to try to, punch back at the state's closing. They're going to address. But guess what? After the defense is done, then the state gets another, or the government gets another opportunity to do a rebuttal. The government goes first, the defense goes second, and the government goes last. So they have the first and the last word. And that's the way it is in every criminal case. Then then the case goes to the jury and they read the instructions. And I just read you just a snippet of the kind of instructions that they're going to get. And this RICO is so fucking easy to prove. I mean, it is so vague. It is so broad. And it's done that way intentionally. And really because it's to get the higher ups in an organization. It was created for the mob. And the mob, what did the mob have between everybody? Buffers, right? They could never get to the mob. Well, now this organization is doing all this shit and you're up here, but you're associated with that organization, you're done. So that's why it's really easy. And they only have to prove one of these overt acts. But they have hundreds and hundreds of exhibits. They've got plenty of witnesses testifying, people that were close to Combs, people that were corroborating Cassie, people that, didn't really have a motivation to lie. What's Cassie's motivation to lie now? She's been paid $20 million. We found that out. What's her motivation to lie now? She said she still loved him. But she's a fucking victim. She's an absolute 100% victim in this case. I know some people say free Diddy and, oh, you're biased. And, I just call it like I see it. If the government hasn't proven their case, I would absolutely be on the side of the defense. And I'm not picking a side. I'm just trying to give you an accurate vision of where we're at in this case. And so what the defense has to argue is not that he's innocent, right? Because we don't have that in this country. Some countries have, I think it's Scotland's got guilty, innocent, and not proven or something like that. And we don't have that. We just have it guilty or not guilty. And it's guilty beyond the reasonable doubt. And how much beyond a reasonable doubt, the instruction will say the amount of care one would use in their most important of affairs. The amount of doubt that it would cause somebody to hesitate. And I always tell a jury, there's no mathematical formula to how far beyond a reasonable doubt we're talking about, but it's got to be pretty darn sure. And at the end of the day, the jury is the one that decide exactly. There's no instruction as to how far it is. And so they have a lot of power. The evidence in this case, I think, is pretty overwhelming. And the defense really has their work cut out for them. So you can't have defense, they didn't put on a case, so you can't hold it against them. And so the defense is really just punching up, just trying to say this person's not credible. Look at the big picture here. And they're going to point out specific instances where Cassie Ventura had said, I love you. I can't wait for the freak offs, that kind of stuff. But that doesn't negate the drugs, does it? That doesn't negate the guy coming in from out of town to fuck her. It just doesn't. So then the case goes to the jury. And when the case goes to the jury, the judge reads the instructions. And then they deliberate. So what's your guess on how long it's going to be? What's your guess? I can tell you in the last case that I tried, the jury was out for 5 days. When you have a 7-week trial, I suspect the jury's going to be out for a little while, at least 2 to 3 days. And one of the things you're going to want to look for is the jury will ask questions if they want to see a particular piece of evidence. Here's the other thing. In the old days, we used to use videotape, right? Fucking videotape. And you didn't send that back with the jury. If they wanted to see the interview or whatever was on the tape, everybody had to assemble in the courtroom. And then the lawyers had to be there, the client had to be there, the prosecutor's got to be there, the jury's there. All right, now put the tape in and that's tape. We always say, I'm going to tape this. No, we don't use tape anymore. So nowadays, they give them a laptop, a blank laptop, and usually with a thumb drive that's got all the exhibits on it. And so then they can do that in the jury room. But look for this. Look for news when a jury has a question. because the questions oftentimes are something that will give you an idea of where they're at, where their head's at. You know, a lot of times they'll ask if they can read back testimony, and they don't allow that. Can you read back the testimony of so-and-so? Or they'll have questions about the instructions. That's especially instructive, because if they talk about the instructions, guess what? They're focusing on a particular piece of evidence related to those instructions. So when you look at this whole thing in its entirety, you've got the government presenting, you know, all these witnesses. You know, you got Cassie, you got her mom, you got assistants, you got hookers, male hookers. I mean, who wants to watch somebody fuck their girlfriend? I mean, no. Sorry. I know some people are into that kind of stuff. Not me. It is just amazing to me. You know, the government's a patient entity, right? And so they win most of their cases, like 96 or 7% of their cases. Stat is really high. And why do they do that? Well, number one, they have the power of the FBI. They have the power of the DEA. They have the power of the U.S. Marshal Service. They have the power of the Department of Justice. You know, they've got really unlimited resources, and they can be patient. And I guarantee you they were patient with Diddy. You know, you watch how this thing unfolds, because the jury's going to get the case, and once they decide, the judge will read the verdict, right? And when the judge reads the verdict, oh my God, even if you're not involved, your palms are sweaty, your heart is pounding. It's a very stressful time. If he's found guilty, there's so many aggravating factors. The torture, the physical assaults, you know, the extended period of time over which this happened, you know, and so I haven't actually calculated his guidelines, but I think they're going to be like 30 to life, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the sex trafficking charges alone might carry a 15-year mandatory minimum. The stakes are really, 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 really high for the diddler, and I wish him well. I mean, I don't have anything against Sean Diddy Combs. I mean, I don't. I call him the diddler because this shit is just fucking gross. I mean, I just don't know how you let somebody fuck your girlfriend. Hey, by the way, go do this and let me watch. You know, oh, and by the way, when you're out this afternoon at the supermarket, can you pick up 450 bottles of baby oil? I mean, fucking A. When you're out at Costco, go get me a 55-gallon drum of baby oil, because I want to get slippery tonight. I mean, fucking A. So Robert just mentioned that, you know, some of the hotel bills for repairs are like $60,000 because it's like oil everywhere.
Photos of Diddy's freak-off damage in multiple hotels has just been released. And now we're even seeing the receipt of damages from the freak-offs at the Intercontinental Hotel of $46,000. This is some of the photos from the many photos entered into evidence of Diddy's freak-off damage that he would occur in these hotel rooms. And right here, that's a whole rug wrapped up in towels and sheets.
I don't... You know, you want to get your freak on? Great. You want to fuck with people and hurt people and put them in harm's way? Not great. So, all right. So that's our little thing. And so I want to give a shout out to some of you. I don't know who sent this stuff, but somebody sent me a gavel. Overruled. Somebody sent me, I think this all came from the same person. I'm not sure. But look at this. I mean, people are sending me stuff left and right. It's just kind of crazy. I got a pair of Clover cufflinks. I got a Clover tie pin, or a lapel pin. And you know, I've gotten some other things. Somebody sent me a plaque with Michael's name on it. I really appreciate that. And I just got a letter this morning. This is from Shelby. Shelby writes about just about her, you know, validating her feelings. She's dealing with her husband, who's dealing with a fentanyl addiction, and you know, and anybody that's dealing with addiction, you know what I dealt with for 12 years. You know, I loved my son, but fucking drugs took him from me. There was about 4 years where we didn't, when he was in college and he was in a sober program. You know, Augsburg College here in Minneapolis has got a program called Step Up. Fucking amazing program. He was sober that whole time, got straight A's. And I highly recommend it. But if you're struggling with addiction yourself, quit fucking lying to yourself. Quit lying to the people around you. Be a good person, or get some help. And if you're dealing with somebody that's struggling from addiction, don't give up on them. Don't give up on them, especially if they're your child. Don't give up on them. Okay? Oh, it fucking gets me every time. Anyway, so I appreciate the sentiments from everybody, and you know, I'm just lucky to have the support of my fiance and my friends and family, and I don't know if I could do it without them. So go to askalawyer.com. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, because if you don't, you're not my friend. I'm just joking, of course. Subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. Get on Facebook. We're growing that platform as well. Probably going to start posting some older videos on so you can go back to Facebook and see some of our hits, as we call them. Isn't that what you kids in the business call them? Hits? No, I'm kidding. And and sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and go to CLR Bruce Rivers for all your merch needs. And if you ordered something, it's on its way. Nick got in a car accident, and his car, he's without a car, so we're getting him a car. We'll see you next time on Criminal Lawyer React.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, I did it. I didn't even ask him a fucking question. Yeah, I did it. I just don't want to be in this room, so I just did it. Let's go. Put me away for the rest of my life. I did it. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, board-certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and by the Minnesota State Bar Association as a criminal trial specialist and a criminal law specialist. And I try cases. It's what I do. And it's through that lens that we give these reactions, thanks to our content genius, Michael Rivers, who is behind the camera as we speak and behind every great idea that comes out of this channel. Before we get to, this might be a quick episode because it's about the fastest confessions ever happened under the DA's rules. So today, this episode is brought to you by ContractsCounsel.com, ContractsCounsel.com. Now, we have a lot of clients for Contracts Counsel, but guess what we need? We need more lawyers. If you're a lawyer and you are looking for a little bit of work to do at home, go to Contracts Counsel. We need you. And I know some of you guys out there, there's a lot of lawyers that watch me because guess what? I'm interesting. The content is interesting, and there's nobody better at this than the content genius, Michael Rivers. So go to ContractsCounsel.com and get a little work done and help some people write some contracts. Okay. So when you are under the threat of interrogation by an officer, guess what? You're afforded a couple things. Number one, you're afforded the right to have a lawyer. But you can also refuse questioning, too. So if you're arrested, I don't answer questions. If you're arrested, I don't answer questions. If you're arrested, I want to talk to my lawyer. I want to talk to my lawyer is the magical phrase that you need to say in order to cease all communication with officers. Because guess what? You're never, ever, ever going to talk your way out of something. And if it's an investigation that's been ongoing for a while, and you all of a sudden just decide to cough up the goods to either the feds or whoever wants to take your statement, you don't know what they know. So you could be innocent, but you're all of a sudden just corroborated some little factoid that makes the rest of it very difficult to swallow a not guilty verdict. So that's why we almost never, and I don't want to say never because I have gone in and done statements before after I've figured out what the facts were, but not very often. 99% of the time, we tell you not to talk to the cops. And not because you're guilty, and because, you know, if you plead the fifth, that doesn't mean you're guilty. It means you're careful, deliberate, and the first time anybody hears your testimony, it should be on that witness stand. So let's just see this is the fastest confessions from suspects.
But in some rare cases, interrogations can last just seconds.
Whoops! Oh, no. No fucking way. Okay, so when you jump out of a window and threaten your own life, is that a consciousness of guilt? Probably.
From accidentally confessing to escapes, these are 5 of the fastest police interrogations in history. Starting with Raymond Gates demonstrating exactly how to head straight to prison in seconds. Raymond was brought in after police obtained footage of him assaulting a 17-year-old girl. Police had to prove that the girl never gave consent, which was difficult given that only some of the attack was caught on camera, but became a lot easier when Raymond almost instantly made a huge slip-up in the interrogation that put him dead to rights.
This girl came back to my house, she's telling me she wants to lose her virginity, man. She's ready to do it and everything. And then right a couple seconds before, and she's like, I don't know, and stuff like that. She's telling me.
So he's the victim. He's the victim. You know, look, I was ready to go. All of a sudden she says no. Well, you can't back out of a deal like that. It's a contract. Oh, yes, you can.
Yes, everything's cool. She's cool with making out.
But when she screamed, "Stop! Please don't do this. It hurts so much."
I was already inside of her at that point. I mean,
no means no, and you can revoke consent at any point, gentlemen, at any point. So you better be damn well sure that you've got consent, and that if all of a sudden something goes wrong, and she is not liking what's going on, you stop.
Like the oh no stop, I'm already like inside of her there, man.
Quantrell Schwarzlow did it even faster, with his interrogation ending in just seconds. Quantrell was brought in for strangling a girl and assaulting her, a crime he clearly didn't want to be convicted of.
That's some balls to just jump out of a window like that with handcuffs on. I'll give him A for athleticism.
Oh, no.
No fucking way. I'm so fucked now. Oh my God. I let the prisoner open the window and run away. That is so hilarious.
Unfortunately for Quantrell, his handcuffs were a dead giveaway, and he was kept.
Hey, nice bracelets you got there. How do they attach? There's ways to get those off, but he's not smart enough to figure that out.
4 hours later. While it's unknown exactly what happens to Quantrell after, this clip will forever put him in the Interrogation Hall of Fame.
That's hilarious. But you would get another charge, an escape charge. And it's probably a misdemeanor. I don't know that it's a felony, but you would get another charge.
However, Ricky Hawthorne took a much more straightforward approach to ending his interrogation, managing to confess in record time. Ricky was found covered in blood near the bodies of Lara Kuchar and Tommy Skeens.
Okay, I can think of things that are less troublesome.
Lara had clearly been assaulted. Ricky's DNA was also found at the scene, so police had no worries when bringing him in. Surprisingly though, Ricky would make it even easier for them.
Hey, come on in.
Hey, yes, sir.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, I did it. I did it. They didn't even ask him a fucking question. Yeah, I did it. I did it. I just don't want to be in this room, so I just fucking did it. Let's go. Put me away for the rest of my life. I did it.
You know what? Let's do this.
I did it, but I think somebody came behind me and finished it. Okay. Yeah, I did it.
So much.
I did what? You know, do you remember my cousin Vinny?
We went out to the car, and that's it.
When did you shoot him?
What?
At what point did you shoot the clerk?
I shot the clerk.
Yes, when did you shoot him?
I shot the clerk.
And then you shot the clerk. And he says, I shot the clerk. I shot the clerk. He says it twice. Now, he says those exact words, but there's a question mark at the end of each one of those sentences. So, I mean, in other words, I shot the clerk, in disbelief. I did it, but somebody else finished it. Well, what did you do that somebody else needed to finish it?
For staying silent. However, Ricky is alleging that he wasn't actually the murderer. He just attacked the couple and assaulted Laura. It was someone else that finished the job. Even though the evidence was stacked against him, he still would have had a better chance of getting away with it if he just stayed silent.
Stop self-snitching.
3 more people. I don't know.
And you know what?
They was living when I left. But I think somebody came in behind me and finished him off. I did beat the shit out of him.
I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did beat the shit out of him. I did put a good hurting on him.
I left.
Despite his claims, it was determined that the couple died of the injuries inflicted by Ricky, and he was later found guilty of first and second-degree murder. Jared had shot his friend in the head during a car ride to Walmart for no other reason than to know what it felt like to kill someone. Jared attempted to flee by hitchhiking to Canada, but was picked up by an officer after perfectly matching the perp's description. The officer took him into custody where a quick but true...
If you want to know what it feels like to kill somebody, go get some fucking help. Okay, don't act out on it. Just go to a hospital right now. Go to a hospital. Tell a psychologist, psychiatrist. They'll get you on some meds and some therapy until that feeling goes away.
Truly chilling interview took place.
Okay, and what do you remember telling me?
In summation that I'm guilty, yes.
Of what?
Of murder.
Okay, and who did you murder?
Gennaro.
Okay, and how did you murder him?
With a gun. I shot him in the head twice.
I shot him in the head twice. He does sound like he's on the spectrum. You know, when you have somebody that is autistic, and the communication and social interaction is just different.
3 shots were fired, 1 missed.
See how absolutely deadpan he is, no emotion.
Isn't hanging around here, and apparently had already confessed before he even made it to the station. But what's interesting about this interrogation isn't the speed at which he confessed, it's exactly why, as well as his general demeanor throughout the interview.
Okay. Jared, give me your full name.
Jared Lindrith Wayne Murray.
Okay, and what's your date of birth?
July the 20th, 1994.
One thing I find interesting, though, he's got a really nice top coat. He's got a nice black tie on, and he seems dressed for success.
How did you guys hook up?
I went down to his dorm room and asked if I could be given a ride to Walmart in exchange for $20 gas money.
Okay. And did he agree to that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's a couple miles from the school?
1.7 miles, sir.
1.7 miles?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so he took you to Walmart?
Yes, sir.
And did you both go in?
No, we did not go in, sir.
Okay, and why not?
We pulled into the parking lot, then I pulled the weapon on him and demanded that he take me to Asher, Oklahoma, sir.
Okay, and why did all of a sudden did you decide that you needed to go to Asher?
Because I was planning to take him out into the country and kill him.
That is about the coldest statement you can even imagine.
So you've been planning this for 2 days?
2 weeks, yes.
2 weeks?
But not with a selected individual, no.
Okay. And when did you get to the point where you knew it was going to be him?
That was 3 days prior to the incident.
And why him? Of all the kids in college here, why him?
I believed that he would have had the least impact, sir.
I believe he would have had the least impact. Impact on what? On the world? On his life? I mean, on...
Impact on what?
I believed he didn't have many friends, or many close friends, I should rephrase.
He was a loser. Nobody would miss him.
And as he is going missing, his absence would be less notable.
Jared was, of course, charged with first-degree murder, but was eventually found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Fastest confessions from suspects. That's Dr. Insanity again, so he does a pretty good job. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers with our content genius, Michael Rivers. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and follow us on Twitter. Sign up for Patreon, and look at this. What do you think of this, guys? This is 1 week. 1 week. I never grow this out. It's getting a little itchy. I got some beard butter. We'll see it on the road, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.